Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Symposium of the Asia Pacific Alliance for Disaster Management, hosted right here in the beautiful island nation of Sri Lanka. It is an absolute honor to have each and every one of you present here today as we delve into the critical theme of climate smart collaboration, accelerating transition towards a climate resilient tomorrow.
Whilst climate change is the most significant challenge we have now to achieve sustainable development goals, we have never had the know-how and solutions available to avert the crisis and create opportunities.
Climate change is a very real and alarming threat to the existence of humankind and this world.
Japan will continue to play a leading role in the transition from a social economy dependent on fossil fuels to one centered on clean energy.
But thank you, most of all, for the participants for joining us today in this conversation on scaling up climate smart solutions. So really moving from innovations to implementation.
So what we have done as our bank we've been doing for years is to screen every single project that goes to the board for climate core benefit. Not just the obvious candidates like environmental, disaster risk management, infrastructure and energy, but also education, health, financial sector.
How many of you have at least a simple, small disaster management section within your organization, analyzing your own vulnerabilities and then gathering the data and information available with disaster management center, the Met department, the irrigation department, the Mahavali and the agrarian, all these areas, and how are you incorporating these possible vulnerabilities into your business plans?
And even epidemic diseases is changing due to the climate change. So we need to accumulate the real data of the fields by watching, monitoring by the eyes.
We must also look at economic diversification, meaning diversify into businesses, diversify into products that contribute towards mitigating climate change, rather than contribute towards products that give you a higher IRR or return on investment.
So when we use this modern agriculture with the drip irrigation and the mulching and the polytunnel, so the usage of agriculture is much less, and the productivity increase, the better income and the better good livelihood of this rural community, the food security, like they have enough money to get the better nutrition.
Private sector is absolutely willing, and we talk of lack of funds. I don't think we have a lack of funds. We have a lack of implementation, right? The sector is committed to moving from brown power to green power. We as company policies have 20% EV mandatory towards our supply chain. It's about future-proofing your organization. It need not be IT. It can be anything. And your supply chains to survive the climate challenges we have.
They say home is where the heart is. And for me, it's always been the ocean. Unfortunately, much has changed within the short 19 years of my life, and the ocean is no longer the same place I once knew.
It's coming at a very important time. We're looking at what is happening around us in our waters around Sri Lanka, as you witnessed in the video just now. We're also talking about what is happening globally.
Based on their access to essential services such as water, sanitation, healthcare, and education. In this report, approximately 1 billion children, nearly half of the world's 2.2 billion children, live in one of the 33 countries classified as extremely high risk.
Always we are making effort to develop good narratives for changing society, changing the paradigm of the people in the financial sector. And always we approach from two different aspects, like in the opportunity side and the threat side. And we expect that the financial sector leaders take spontaneous action. Also the business leaders also take spontaneous actions with goodwill to reduce climate risk
We're talking about the climate crisis. For decades and decades and decades, the information has been out there. If you think about the human-elephant conflict in Sri Lanka, until elephants start marauding Horton Place, I think we will not care too much about it, or unless it becomes a hashtag. But the human-elephant conflict has been something that's been highlighted in Sri Lankan media for decades, but it's not been understood.
And we do see still a gap on access to finance, mostly to women leading MSME in Indonesia. And I think this is one way on how we are able to actually equip women to be more resilient if they have access to finance.
So going back to the impact of the human mobility or displacement, it affects so much, as Mom said, the children, the women, which synthesizes is so fortunate to be women, old people, and the agricultural sector.
Around November, the government is trying to complete the IMF process negotiations. So at that point, Sri Lanka can start negotiating the climate swaps, nature swaps, and many other impact financing, that kind of thing.
To our diverse and engaged audience, both in person and virtual, we appreciate your active participation and insightful questions, which have made this symposium a dynamic and interactive event.
As we move forward from this space, let's carry with us the knowledge that our voices matter, our actions have consequences, and our collaborations hold the potential to transform the world.